day everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be looking at the good, the bad, and the music. Okay, so we all know about the flash, the glam, the cool cars, the money, the fame, and I can go on. I mean, we see the flashy outside, but not the dark, depressing inside. So in this video, we're gonna look at that and really knock ourselves out. So if you know you haven't subscribed yet, please make sure you do. What are you waiting for? It's going to be like a +100 to me and definitely a +100 to you, I promise. Now without further delay, let's dive right into the video. Now the first thing I'm going to talk about, because I feel when you're talking about this kind of stuff, this is the first thing that comes to mind, is record label. For some time now, record labels have been rumored to be the destruction of the average artist. And for those of you who don't know what a record label is, it's basically an organization that deals with the management, promotion, and all-around business and sale of the artist and his music. Now notice I said the artist and his music, and no, it was not some kind of tautology or repetition for clarity. I meant what I said. The artist and his music are both products. Yes, the artist is a product to be sold off like a carton of milk. Maybe not the same way, but you get the point, right? The artist in most cases is manufactured and branded by the record label to appeal to the audience. Now my analogy makes more sense, doesn't it? But to be honest though, literally everything in entertainment is, really. So it should be justified, right? Yeah, not really. Not when it is taken to the next level. There are a lot of people in the music industry who were manufactured to the point of identity loss. Take a look at Baby Goth, for example, who was transformed from a pop artist to a hip-hop artist, all by her record label. Now you're not gonna tell me the trend of dyed hair isn't even in the least bit suspicious. I mean, at this point it's a cycle. Many record labels copy the success of other labels and impose it on their artists. Now some artists obviously did it to themselves, but not all of them. And those who didn't, the record label told them that if you're gonna get signed, you're gonna get the look. Now record labels are allegedly the worst thing any artist can get himself into. Although I am not a strong believer of that too, because a lot of artists in the music industry do actually need a record label to deal with their careers more effectively. So I won't say record labels are all bad, but we do have to consider that in a pool of lies there is always an entity of truth. Record labels will not receive this many allegations if they were all false. That is to tell you many of them are true. And another gruesome rumor about record labels is that they can cost the average artist a fortune. Yes, it is terrifying. What is supposedly meant to double your income is now diminishing it. And according to the Root, in every $1,000 of music sold, the average artist makes around $23.4. For those of you keeping score, that's like 2.3% gross. Yeah, that sucks. And this is not because music is difficult to profit off of. No, actually, according to research, the record label is the sole reason. So let's talk about shipping. Yes, shipping music from California to New York can actually cost the artists a huge amount of money. But that's meant to be handled by the record label. Except for something called breakage fee. Yes, there is something literally called breakage fee. Record labels charge 20% for breakage fee. That means 1 in every 5 vinyl records breaks from shipments all the way across the states. Yeah, they did that. But it gets a lot worse. Back then, vinyl records were used and they were considerably fragile, unlike their counterparts CDs or cassette tapes in big plastic cases. Even still, record labels continue to charge a 20% breakage fee for that also. Although luckily now, streaming and digital downloads represent a major source of revenue, so the days of ripping artists off for like 20% breakage fees are over. Oh wait, they're not. Record labels still charge 20% breakage fee for something they call digital breakage. Yeah, it's a whole hell house. And these are not the only things that creep me about this whole record label situation. There's a whole lot more, but we're not gonna get really deep into it. Now, first of all, a record deal does not guarantee success in the music industry by any means. In fact, it could be very detrimental to the artist. Record labels are known to shelve artists that they feel are not bringing enough buzz or money. Not to mention how almost impossible it is to get a record deal for starters. And many record deals are shitty, so shitty they'll be better off at their mother's basement. There are countless artists who have cried out about being shelved by the record label. It's a total disaster. A nightmare, in fact. Artists like Lil Xan and Smoke Pop have cried out about their experience and being shelved by their record labels, and it is very terrifying. And it is believed that many artists face this problem when they believe they are no longer making hits, or there's a new kid on the block. Either way, it sucks. Record labels are also rumored to shelve artists for the sole purpose of eliminating a potential threat to their top artists. And I know the question on your mind now is, but that doesn't make sense. Won't they be ruining a potential gold mine? But the truth is they never intended on making you their gold mine because they haven't invested a lot of money in you, but they have in their top artists. So you coming as a threat could be very, very bad for them. So they phone you up with a record deal and a bright future and bam! Threat eliminated. I don't know why, but all this just sounds like a movie. This has to be a movie reference. Now, despite the creepy situation surrounding record labels, that is not all there is. The dark side of the music industry. The second thing I want to talk about is the dark side of K-pop. And yes, this industry is also rumored to include horrible themes like assaults, prostitution, spy cams, and suicide. And a wave of scandals has brought attention to South Korea's squeaky clean music industry. Now, K-pop is a very influential aspect of the music industry, which was for a long time considered to be very immaculate. You have no idea. K-pop stars are idolized, and it's no surprise that it will come as a shocker when things start getting out of hand. Now, we're going to take a look at the crazy controversy that started the whole K-pop scandal. So, rewind January 2019, a man was beaten by a guard for trying to stop a sexual assault at a club called Burning Sun in Seoul, which was partly owned by Seungri, one of K-pop's most influential stars. The claims of the guy that was beaten spiraled into a series of allegations related to sex trafficking, date rapes, spy camera recordings, and bribery. Seungri and other K-pop stars were under investigation. Prosecutors then opened an inquiry into whether the police had been running an interference for stars, covering the whole shit and ignoring the reports, and allowing predatory hubs to operate. The scandal pretty much gave the industry a very bad image. The image in which the industry goes to extreme lengths to protect. Now, this is funny because this is where it gets juicy. Now, a bad image is going to be bad for them because it's bad for marketing. And marketing has been the #1 weapon of the K-pop industry in attaining global recognition. This image is often imposed on young adults, the appealing ones, to appeal even more. Because why not? Because if you're going to do something, do it well. If you're gonna create this image, if you're gonna impose these rules, drive him to the brink of madness. It's no wonder there are those suicide cases, but we'll get to that. Right now, we're focusing on the scandal. Now, this scandal disrupted the image of an industry which depends heavily on image. That's gotta have a backlash. It disrupted the image of something that depends on image so heavily to market their product. BTW, we are still talking about people here. Yes, we are. After that, other sex offenses started rolling in. It got so bad that the president of Korea called for a wide-ranging investigation of sex offenses linked to the entertainment industry. These included the case of the 29-year-old actress Jang Jae-young, who died by suicide in the year 2009 after leaving a note that she had slept with 30 prominent men. Yes, 30 men. And that is just the beginning. There's literally a whole chronology of sex offenses in the Korean entertainment industry, particularly K-pop. From sex camera recordings to using girls as prostitutes, these guys get into a lot of dirty work. The K-pop industry is likened to a machine, a series of factories that drills young adults into becoming better singers, dancers, and into becoming more marketable. Now, there have been quite a number of suicide cases, one including Soli, which happened after all the online backlash she got after speaking out about her mental health. It's the whole story. Now, I'm sure many of you already probably know the story, but what I'm trying to point out here is that if you look at the K-pop industry in a very inquisitive manner, you'll find there's a lot of bad stuff in there. The third thing I want to talk about is industry plants. Ah yes, the infamous industry plants. Honestly speaking, this is probably the worst in the list of things. Industry plant is a term used to describe someone who kind of faked his whole origin story just to get the undying love of the fans. It could pretty much go like this. I, an artist and orphan boy left with only my uncle, I took an interest in singing. I struggled to get money to record my songs, but I did it anyways with my uncle. And after years of supreme hustle and sheer talent, I got my hit single. Unless that's not what actually happened, and I'm really a guy from New York, whom both his parents are back in New York, and I have been signed to a record label all along. Now, if that seems a little bit extreme, it's perfect, because that's what industry plants do. They're basically all liars. Who all just lie about how they rose to fame, passing off as someone who rose organically as an individual. Meanwhile, they had the backing of an entire record label. Now, in this case, the record labels are probably also to blame because they probably also orchestrated the whole thing for all we know. But the artist definitely still has a huge chunk of the blame. for lying. Now, what brought this whole speculation of industry plans? Because there were not many allegations of industry plans back in the day, but now they seem to be everywhere at an alarming rate. I mean, now they're on Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram. The thing is, the rise of some people in the music industry is so phenomenal, it becomes almost unbelievable. Now, some of these industry plans only like exaggerate their grind, but it's still lying. So many artists nowadays have been called out for being industry plans because of how fast they rose to fame. Now, you might call this cynicism. I call it questioning. I mean, I know it could happen, but you kind of need some huge amount of talent, which many of the people speculate don't have. I mean, it's kind of rare to just hop out of nowhere in the music industry. You need a base. Unless, of course, you're a one-hit wonder, which in that case is perfectly acceptable. I mean, legit industry plans come out of nowhere today, and the next day, they are all over your timeline. Now, there's a YouTuber called Progress who has a whole video on this stuff. Yeah, he really deep dived, but what really got me though was Baby Goth. She had no songs prior to the time she got signed to Republic Records, a subsidiary of Universal Music Group, and now she just like had hit singles everywhere. I mean, and you said I shouldn't question. These people created Baby Goth and put her out there for the whole world. Yay, record labels, you've done it again. Sacrifices. Yeah, a lot of people don't talk about this, but there are a lot of sacrifices that artists make for their career. Most of them, as I said earlier, forsake their identities, some even their freedom to become someone new. A new brand, something appealing to the audience and to the record label. Most of them also go on tours around the world and leave their family back home for months. Oh, as well as the fact that every single person in every single street knows their name. And not all those people like them. I mean, I think the recent case with Billie Eilish on Jimmy Kimmel Live has explained that all well enough. Which leads me to high expectations. A lot of people, for some weird reason, want an arm and a leg from artists. Some people want an artist to keep a particular sound, and some people want them to change that sound, and some people just outrightly want them to shut up. But their opinion doesn't matter, right? Honestly speaking, it kind of does, because in every business or organization, the customer is always right. And when the customers start approaching a staggering 60 million, they're bound to get annoying, which is what happened at the end of Jimmy Kimmel Live. Billie Eilish saw her fans on both sides as she was approaching her vehicle. She wanted to hug those fans, and those fans said, "Oh no, sweetheart. We don't want your damn hug, we want your superstar autograph so we can sell it and make some dough. You." And there was this drama and there was that drama. The whole thing was on the internet for a couple of days. You probably already know what happened. So that is a sketch of the dark side of the music industry. If you want more content like this, please subscribe to this channel and leave a like. And comment below, what do you think was the most disturbing reality of the music business? Thanks for watching. Goodbye.